It's that time of year again, viewers. Geopolitics Draft Day 2. So far, we have seen some really good picks by all of the participating teams. This year, we have some of the best teams fighting for the title of Geopolitics Vanquisher. We have Apple Biscuits, Popeye Sharks, Team Super Spec, Goon Squad, Geographical Giants, and a new addition to the game, Susan Campo. So based on the current picks, our prediction team has anticipated that Apple Biscuits will rise to the top because of countries like Syria and Afghanistan who are always breaking the news. Today, we have General Manager of Apple Biscuits, Akeida, here to talk about who she plans on drafting from her team this season. Thanks for being here today, Akeida.
Thanks for having me.
So, what team do you plan on drafting this season?
After much thought and consideration, I have decided that the team we will be drafting this year will be Ukraine, so they would make a great addition to another team.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Is Ukraine at fault in this situation?
Oh, not at all. In fact, Ukraine has over 223 points in less than a month. Along with that, Ukraine has a positive Goldstein tone, which always helps contribute to their amazing score.
Wow. But Akeida, do you think that Ukraine's considerable stats are just a coincidence?
Not at all. Ukraine is most noticeably involved in disputes with Russia over its Crimean Peninsula. That said, there are other things that make Ukraine a great country.
And that is?
Well, for starters, as a result of Russian-sponsored separatist violence, which started in 1999 in Crimea and eastern Ukraine, there are, as of 2015, 1,505,600 people internally displaced.
Wow, that's pretty significant. That probably helped Ukraine gain a lot of points.
And that's not at all. Ukraine is a source, transit, and destination country for men, women, and children facing forced labor and sex trafficking. Ukrainian victims are sex trafficked within Ukraine as well as Russia, Poland, Iraq, and other countries. The usual victims of trafficking are often Ukrainian people in rural areas.
That's some conflict with a lot of potential. You will probably be seeing a lot more about that in the future. Although the Goldstein tone might be negative for once, the amount of mentions about this conflict will definitely make up for it.
Definitely. Right you are, Tiffany. That's one last thing. Ukraine continues to protest aggressively for closer European ties. That's even more potential for future news.
Absolutely. In fact, this ties in with the court's algorithm for predicting future geopolitical events. According to his algorithm, Ukraine's current political and economic future landscape follows Rule 4, the Economic Health and Injustice Rule, and Rule 8, which is the Territory Rule. Rule 4 states that a desire for economic success, good health, and justice are the main drivers of political revolt and revolution because people fear for their children. You know, Akeida, if we ever doubted the validity of this rule, we don't need to look any further for an example than Ukraine itself.
Why is that, Tiffany?
That's because a big source of political revolt was due to Ukrainians urging for the resignation of the president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych. This revolt actually succeeded and he was forced to resign in 2014.
Well, that's some compelling evidence. But what about Rule 8?
Well, Rule 8 states that the territory rule is one of the most powerful forces in politics.
Well, the battle over Crimean Peninsula is certainly a territorial dispute.
Right you are, Akeida, which is why we both know that it's clear that Ukraine has massive potential.
So how do you think Ukraine stacks up to other countries?
Well, Akeida, I think we've already established that Ukraine is quite the catch. So just looking at a random country such as Egypt, which only has 52 mentions while Ukraine has 82, says something.
Doesn't that country belong to Super Spec?
Why, yes it does. And to think that they're number one on the leaderboard right now. I think Ukraine would make a fine addition to their team.
I think so too, Tiffany. Also, Susan Campo's team, Greenland, has only received 18 mentions. Yikes.
Wow. Well, I hope the best for you this season.
Thank you.
You're welcome back anytime. And that's all for today's talk on Geopolitics Draft Day 2.